Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. This video is intended to demonstrate the use of PowerPivot and data modeling within Excel. PowerPivot and data modeling are newer capabilities first introduced in Excel 2010, or was it 27? And they sort of supersede the older the older legacy pivot table methods. And the newer PowerPivot and data modeling, they are intended to facilitate business intelligence. And so we're going to sort of scratch the surface and just explore some of the fundamental capabilities. So we'll start by opening up Microsoft Excel, a blank worksheet. Well, actually, we're going to load some data. So we're going to open up a previous spreadsheet. And here we see a rather extensive table containing sales data, containing various categories or various dimensions of sales data. For example, we have sales versus product category versus sales manager, product code, sales versus the particular model, the price, sales amount, the time, month, year, customer, territory, and so on. So we can essentially analyze this data using a pivot table. And so we'll take a quick look at how to do that now using a pivot table. Go to Insert, Pivot Table, into a new worksheet. And we're going to take a look at, let's say, sales by sales manager over time. So I'll find the year and the sales amount for each sales manager per year. So there we are. There's our first pivot where we take a look at the sales amount for every sales manager for various years, and also the totals as well. So it's a very nice, convenient way of looking at our data, or a nice way of rotating the OLAP cube, as they say. But we'll just get rid of this now. Now, what if we wanted to take a look at sales by office? We have another table here, a table called Sales Manager, which has the offices that correspond to every sales manager. Essentially, for every category of sales, we have a sales manager and an office. Now, it just so happens that the office category is missing from our table. So, how do we pivot using this office data? Well, we can't on this table. We're going to have to introduce it somehow. And to do that, we will insert another column here, and we'll call this column Office. And we have to bring the data in from this sales manager table, and we do that by using a function called VLOOKUP equal VLOOKUP. And we're going to look up this product category, and we're going to look that up in the other table, which is the sales manager table. And the field that we're going to be interested in is field number 3, which is the office. So we'll just close this up, and okay, so there we've introduced the office field or the office category or the office dimension, whichever you prefer, into the sales table using this VLOOKUP function. And now we can pivot using the office. So we go into pivot tables again, and now we can do the same thing, but rather than using Office Manager, we can look at the sales over the years of the various offices. And there we have it. There's essentially 2 offices, and so here's the total sales for each office over the years. And so we can do it, but we've had to do some extra work by introducing this office table into the sales table using this lookup function. Now, we only have 2 tables, so that's not much work. But if we had a lot of tables, okay, dozens of them, let's say, with our data scattered all over the place, then it would be a considerable amount of work to link all those tables up using these function methods or some other method, perhaps. So this is one of the problems which the newer versions of Excel intend to address using the PowerPivot and data modeling. So we'll just close this workbook, and we'll reload everything again anew. And this time we'll examine how to do the same thing we did using data modeling and PowerPivot. Now, we have 2 tables here. So we have to link them somehow, and we link them based upon the fact that each table has a common category. The category is product category here, which is also called category here, but they link the 2 tables. And so we can go into data relationships, and we can link those 2 tables by creating a new relationship. The first table will be sales, second table sales manager. And the columns between the 2 that link them are the product category in sales and the category in sales managers. Now notice how this column is called a primary column, and that essentially means that the values have to be unique in this one column, and they are. So that's why we can link them together. If one is familiar with relational database theory, it's the same idea, that you can link 2 tables, but only if one table has that data as a primary column, which means all of the individual fields are unique. But so we've now created a relationship based upon this, and let it work here for a moment. Okay, so there's our new relationship. We close that. Now, what does this relationship look like? Well, we go into PowerPivot, and we can actually examine this relationship in detail, because this is now our data model. Our data model now consists of two linked tables, sales and sales managers, linked through this common category. And we can take a better look. This is called a data view, where we look at the actual data. We can also take a look at diagram view, which will come up in a moment here. And there's our relationship between the 2 tables. Product category in one linked to the category of the other via this relationship here, which is the same one we just created. Sales, sales managers, linked by product category and category. Okay. Now, based upon this relationship, we can create a pivot table directly. We'll put it in a new worksheet as usual. And now we see we have two tables here. We have sales and sales manager. So we're interested in the office. Where is office here? It's hard to see it. Maybe I can expand this a bit here. Yes, here's it's better. Okay. I want to go get office out of the other table. Here we are, right here. That goes into rows. And where is product? I mean years. Years is coming up here somewhere. Here we are. And the values will be sales amount. And there's our same pivot table we made last time, except now we made it directly without this prior linking step. We made it directly via our data model. Our data model, which consists of two linked tables. So this just shows you the basic idea of this new data model PowerPivot capability within the newer versions of Microsoft Excel. And this really is just scratching the surface. There's a whole lot more that can be done, but this is the basics, and already it shows great potential in eliminating a great deal of the work that we would have to do formally to link all these tables through some laborious method. Now things are much easier, and our business intelligence data can be analyzed much more efficiently using this new PowerPivot data model approach. Once again, just take a look at here's our basic data model that we have created, and we can do things like add more tables to this model if we so desired in time. So it's a very versatile, flexible approach, and perhaps in the future we will explore this in more detail, but suffice it to say that this has been a grounding in the basic fundamentals. So thank you for viewing, and I'll just shut things off here.